Giving and surrender, they are the same thing. After all, the root of the word surrender is to give. We are back, baby, with another reflection on the daily Vedantic. And today's reflection is on that perennial principle, perennial value that nearly every major tradition and philosophy talks about, calls us to aspire towards, and that is to give. It's not just the sense of generosity, although that is obviously related to giving, but it's even deeper than that. It is a life called to give. Generosity is giving quite a bit. The more generous, the more you might give. But to give, a life called to give, and to give completely goes beyond just generosity or going from 10% to 20% of your paycheck. A life that is called to give. Yesterday, we spoke about surrendering to a duty-bound existence and immediate peace following. What's so beautiful about that phrase is that it's what to do and what you get out of it. It's not just saying, hey, you're called to give, and you try to think through what you get out of it, the reason to do it, the benefit to you, and some selfish sense of why you'd want to do it. This phrase, surrender to a duty-bound existence, spells it out. It says, immediate peace follows. Surrender to your duty, and immediate peace follows. To give financially is one thing. Better is to give your physical self an effort. Better than that is to give your emotional self, to understand what someone is going through or what a community is going through, to truly understand it, and then to give your physical presence or financially. To be able to wisely dissect what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. That's only possible when we give ourselves completely to the cultivation and development of our intellects, the cultivation and development of clarity, of seeing clearly. And we master that by giving ourselves completely. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour and think, okay, well, I've got to give myself completely to enjoy any peace. It's so beautiful in that it's incremental. The more you tap into duty of recognizing, okay, this is what I should probably do right now for those around me or for myself. Get back from the gym, you feel amazing. Get back from helping that friend move, you feel energized. Wake up early, get started in your day in the right way. You have energy that lasts you till the evening. When we do what we ought to do, it generates so much energy within us. And giving and surrender, they are the same thing. After all, the root of the word surrender is to give. Surrendering to a duty-bound existence. It's not to walk around and say, okay, I need to give away 15 things from my house or from my closet and do that once a week and feel great about it. Incrementally, maybe that will make you feel better. Certainly better than not giving. But surrender, that takes that generosity to a whole new level. To surrender your desires, surrender what you want. And to incrementally surrender more and more and more of your selfish desires towards a higher calling, towards duty. To give and to live a spirit of giving is not recognizing, oh, this person needs that, and giving that to them. That is a part of it, but to really give, to give ourselves completely, what does that look like according to this philosophy? It's so wild that it does not compute the first time you hear it. But a life of giving, identification with giving, surrender to those around you in service and usefulness. That is signing up for a life that looks like striving and struggling. Not succeeding, but any modicum amount of success is just poured back into, invested back into that service, that surrender, to where even moments of success just quickly become more struggle, more striving, more weight on the bar at the gym, even if you hit a personal record. Going further with your surrender to a duty, even though you feel like, well, I've already given up my whole prior life to this career or to this work, but going further and further and further, upping the ante, and that consistent feeling of striving and struggling. That's the goal versus some milestone or finish line that you previously thought of as quote unquote success. That's what it looks like. That's what it can often feel like. But what does it really feel like internally? Peace. Immediate peace that generates more and more energy within you. It's not from resting, relaxing, feasting, abstaining from action, abstaining from giving and keeping. That's not what gives us energy. It's actually learning to love, to struggle, to strive. Again, I know this is so foreign to everything we hear, but maybe you can relate it to certain parts of your life. Mastering a craft, developing the body, getting really great at discussing hard topics and knowing that, wow, the energy gets generated and created by going into what former you might have thought would be uncomfortable. That can feel like striving and struggling. Does not feel like a finish line. Does not feel like some massive trophy you get of success, but feels like striving and struggling, and a choice, a voluntary choice for those two over resting, relaxing, taking. And paradoxically, not only do you find peace there, but it's that voluntary approach to your day-to-day, your week-to-week, that generates energy within us. After all, the root of the word generosity is the same as the root behind generate. To be generous, yes, it is giving seemingly elsewhere, but really it's a gift to yourself of peace and energy. And when we take the alternative approach, those are the two things we give away. When we see how we can get more, when we think, how do we keep? There's a loss of peace and a dissipation of energy. So if you value those two things, well, this philosophy makes it explicitly clear how to have more of them, to live a life of complete generosity and to give. That's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.